We bring you the lunch edition of MBC News with me, Ramio Umari. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines. President Mutharika hails the Standard Bank for its vital contribution to Malawi's national development and economic progress. Increased chieftaincy wrangles worries stakeholders in Mangochi. Government reiterates its commitment to advancing value addition and agricultural commercialization. In our first story, President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika has hailed the Standard Bank's contribution to Malawi's national development and economic growth. The president made the remarks on Friday following a meeting with the bank's officials at Sanjika Palace in Blantyre. More in this report.
President Mutharika noted that Standard Bank has operated in Malawi for 57 years, contributing significantly to the nation's progress through road infrastructure projects and the facilitation of fuel exports. He further praised the bank for expanding its support into road rehabilitation, mining and rail infrastructure, saying these investments will help accelerate the country's development.
Standard Bank has been here for 57 years and they played a key role. It's now the second largest bank in this country. Played a very key role now. Now they're expanding their role. They have helped us before in things like oil importation. They have helped us with letters of credit there in the past. So it's not new that they have now decided to expand their role in this country for the benefit of this country. And now they want to go into things like agro-business. They want to go into infrastructure and the other mining. And so forth, other aspects of including road maintenance, rebuilding the roads in this country, etc., etc. So it's a natural growth of this relationship.
In his remarks, Standard Bank Chief Executive Officer Philip Madinga affirmed the bank's full support for President Mutharika's vision to rebuild Malawi. He pledged to partner with the government to unlock over 4 trillion kwacha in investments across priority economic sectors.
Currently, the largest importer of fuel in the country with facilities close to $100 million. You know, we've had a challenge in this country the past few weeks or months. So we wanted to affirm our commitment that we'll continue to support the importation of strategic commodities, particularly fuel, but also fertilizer and pharmaceuticals. Fertilizers particularly for the agriculture sector. One of the other areas that we also highlighted to His Excellency was the area of infrastructure development. We have supported, if you go into Lilongwe, the 6-lane road, that has actually made Lilongwe quite beautiful. But we want to do more. We want to work with His Excellency government and other partners to look at the infrastructure development, rail, roads, airports, and other infrastructure. There's currently rail rehabilitation that is going to be embarked on by the Roads Fund Administration, and we want to be part of that, financing. Thirdly, we shared with His Excellency that it's well to talk about these things from the private sector. What we want to see is meaningful dialogue. We would want to use our Growth Conversations Forum, where we can bring and work with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Industrialization, Business, Trade, Tourism, where we can actually come together with the Chamber of Commerce to discuss the issues that we're discussing with His Excellency. We've discussed with His Excellency today to see how we can actually prioritize areas that we can support. We also discussed in general the ATM strategy, particularly around mining development in the country.
Madinga added that building on its 57-year history in the country, the Malawi Stock Exchange-listed bank is strategically positioned to help the government achieve its ambitious development targets, despite the global economic and geopolitical uncertainties arising from recent conflicts in the Middle East.
First Lady, Madam Professor Gertrude Mutharika, is at Matapwata Ground at Goliath in Cholo District to distribute relief items to food insecure households through the Beautify Malawi BIM Trust. Through the initiative, Madam Professor Gertrude Mutharika is expected to reach out to about 750 households. Now, government says it is committed to training youths with the vocational skills for national development. Minister of Labour, Skills and Innovation, Joel Chagona, said this when he inspected construction works for Nsoni Technical College in Chiradzulu District. Chris Mainjini and Kisomo Break have filed this report.
Chigona said the country cannot develop if the youth are not provided with vocational skills. He added, government is fully committed to developing technical colleges in every constituency.
Oh yeah, last time we visited, I think there are some gaps that really needed to be filled for the completion of Sona Technical College, Community Technical College. We are very much impressed with what we have seen today. I think the progress is very good, as the contractor have assured us that by next month, mid, the college will be fully completed and ready for opening.
In his remarks, Sandstone building contractor manager Chikondi Kazombe said construction works are at 85%, nearing completion.
People in Malawi believe in us that this is the durable development and it will be durable for many years.
Construction works of Nsoni Technical College in Chiradzulu started in 2019 but stalled in 2021. After returning power, the DPP government resumed the works in December last year. Apart from helping students from Chiradzulu, the college will also accommodate students from surrounding districts of Blantyre, Mulanje, and Cholo.
Minister of Education, Bright Msaka, says the government is committed to investing in digital skills for primary and secondary school learners in both rural and urban areas. Msaka was speaking in Lilongwe when UNICEF and GIGA disseminated a report on school connectivity landscape analysis, which among other aspects says 85% of the country's 9,000 schools have limited to no internet at all. Isaac Jari has a report.
Disseminating the school connectivity landscape analysis report, Penelope Kembo of UNICEF said 85% of the country's 9,000 schools have no internet connectivity, and this increases learning inequalities between learners in urban and rural setups. Penelope Kembo further said lack of electricity and digital devices such as computers or tablets stand out as key barriers, hence the need for collaboration between government and non-state actors to address the situation.
I think it's making good use of the quick wins. So for schools which have, for example, energy and access to internet, then it's about filling the gap in terms of devices and connecting the schools. If we can do that quickly, that will be a big win in itself.
Reacting to the report, Minister of Education Bright Msaka said the current administration is committed to the agenda of taking digital penetration to rural schools, saying the world over, economies are being reshaped by technology and digital skills. Msaka disclosed that financial resources are available to ensure rural schools are electrified and connected to the internet.
The agenda is to ensure that every school in Malawi must be connected, and every child, primary, secondary, must be exposed fully to internet and connectivity. So the task is to make sure that the schools have got power, whether grid power or solar power, to ensure that they have connectivity, they have computers on their premises.
For his part, Minister of Information and Communications Technology, Shadrack Namalomba, describes the report as an opportunity for Malawi to make further strides in digital penetration in schools.
We talk about 2063 vision. We cannot leave behind that classroom. It must be connected. It must be digitally transformed. that is a serious issue, and His Excellency Professor Arthur Peter Mutalinga has mandated us to ensure that we scale up the connectivity to a classroom. As we are speaking now, UNICEF is assisting us, but also we have a project, World Bank project, that is going to give us, to support us with 2,000 schools. In addition to that, we have also within the ministry, using Universal Service Fund, connecting schools, over about 150 schools.
The school connectivity landscape analysis was conducted in all 34 districts of the country. The current administration has earmarked internet development. Isaac Jali, MBC, Lilongwe.
District Commissioner for Mangochi, Roderick Simwaga, has attributed a lack of community awareness on chieftainship succession plan as among the major factors fueling increased cases of chieftaincy wrangles in Mangochi. Speaking in an interview with MBC on the sidelines of the council meeting in addressing the wrangles, Simwaka said they have registered 16 cases ranging from village to senior chief level, and half of them are in courts, while the remaining 8 are waiting to be resolved. Sotindazi has compiled this report read by Owen Mavula.
Chieftainship wrangles have for some time proved to hinder community development as it prevents stakeholders from engaging in essential projects. In most cases, this leads to lack of infrastructure and social services. One of the districts facing serious unresolved chieftainship wrangles is Mangochi, where about 16 cases are awaiting legal redress, while some are hanging in dialogue stage. In an interview with MBC, District Commissioner for Mangochi, Rodney Simwaga, attributed the increase to lack of mutual understanding between members of concerned royal families.
We have a number of chieftainship disputes in Mangochi here. We've received a number of them over time. I think the major disputes that we have received, we have recorded. We know there are a lot of other chieftaincy disputes at village level, at GBH level, at sub-chief level, at TA level, or even at senior chief level. They are there are many, but in our case we have registered 16, and over half of those are in courts of law, so we don't talk about them. We only talk about those that are with us, and perhaps it's important to add that as a DC or DC's office, we don't make decisions over chieftaincy disputes. We don't resolve issues. These issues are resolved by chiefs themselves.
Equally concerned is Yao Chief Paramount Chief Kawinga, who described the development as counterproductive. Paramount Kawinga believes dialogue is key to addressing all chieftaincy wrangles that are still hanging.
Nowadays, most people go to complain to lawyers and some to civil society organizations to find a solution. The lawyers receive complaints without carefully analyzing the issue, and this fuels an increase of chieftaincy wrangles. For example, in Mangochi, the chieftaincy wrangle of Nkomba was resolved by installing the chief, but some family members got injunction challenging the installation. This affects development efforts because there is nothing which can be done as the courts have powers and are respected.
Some quarters believe that while courts play a crucial part in resolving such disputes, there is still a need for district commissioners to properly liaise with royal families for family trees.
The District Commissioner for Palombe, Yobu Maginagama, has called on the corporate sector to support efforts aimed at improving hygiene and sanitation in the district. Maginagama made the appeal on Wednesday when FDH Bank donated sanitation materials worth 5 million kwacha to the district council. The items include wheelbarrows, hose, and protective gloves. The initiative is in line with the Presidential Directive Executive Order No. 2 of 2026, which seeks to improve sanitation in public places. Our reporter Tumbiko Nyirongo caught up with the District Commissioner for Palombe, Yobu Maginagamba.
The items that we have received today, there are no, as you have seen on the items that we have received today, there are no dustbins. And dustbins are also part of the items needed for sanitation to take place effectively. We are making a request to organizations in Palombe and other areas to come and assist us with dustbins so that they should be distributed in all places where people meet. That includes hospitals, schools, and many other places, plus markets.
Meanwhile, FDH Bank's Accounts Relations Manager, Rose Ganyandula, said the donation follows a request from the Council to support hygiene and sanitation efforts. She has since urged the Council to ensure proper use and maintenance of the donated equipment.
The government gave a directive to the council to have clean surroundings. So, however, the district council approached the bank looking for assistance for items that are in the program. So, as a bank, we saw it fit that we should partner with the council in enforcing the government programs. We expect the people to take care of the items. They should also own the things. You shouldn't look at the things as government items. They should look at the things as their own things that are supposed to use that are going to help them in their environment so that they live healthy lives.
This is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories. President Mutharika hails the Standard Bank for its vital contribution to Malawi's national development and economic progress. Increased chieftaincy wrangles worries stakeholders in Mangochi. Government reiterates its commitment to advancing value addition and agricultural commercialization. Moving on, the government has commended the Open Heart Surgery Camp program for transforming cardiac care in the country and successfully performing 61 major surgeries and treating over 120 patients within just 3 years. Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Dan Namarika, said the initiative, which began as a modest effort, has now grown into a life-saving program delivering a high-quality cardiac care to patients across the country. Mercy Zamawa with the details.
Living with someone who is sick in the home is extremely difficult, and when there is a little or no hope of receiving medical treatment, it becomes even more distressing for both the patient and their family. This is the situation the Mwadzangate family has been going through due to the illness of their child who has been suffering from a heart condition. Now, hope has clicked for the family as the child is among 128 heart patients who have received medical assistance through surgeries that have been done since the year 2023, when specialists, heart doctors, began visiting the country to help patients at Blantyre Adventist Hospital. These patients have been receiving treatment through a program known as Open Heart Surgery Camp. One of the doctors from the United States of America, Dr. John Craig, said it is encouraging to see that some patients who received treatment are now doing well and living healthy lives.
Everyone is doing beautifully. It's been a great effort with the Malawian team. So we brought a lot of people in. A big focus of ours is not just taking care of the patients, but also working with the local Malawian team. There are some very critical team members that we did not bring intentionally because we wanted to fill that with the local Malawian team, and so it's a blended team. And I've never met a group of people that were hungrier to learn. And again, they're very smart, very talented people, and we're honored to work alongside them.
The Chief Executive Officer for Blantyre Adventist Hospital, Gibleka Sinjal, said the patients are being assisted free of charge.
of 128 in 6 camps. This is the 60th camp. So this is an achievement for the country, Malawi. It has never happened, but it's happening here in Malawi. These are candidates who were supposed to go to India or South Africa because it's not locally done. So the country is saving here lives, forex, and other aspects.
Meanwhile, Secretary for Health, Dr. Dan Namarika, who participated in one of the surgeries in this 60th open heart surgery camp, said government is grateful that such operations can be done in the country, as traveling abroad for treatment takes a long time and costs a lot of money, currently more than 14 million kwacha.
It's amazing work. This is life-changing, and the government will fully support this initiative. Our minister, the president, all are really giving applaud to this team here. And the beauty is that they've already started training our people so that sustainability becomes the order of the day.
This year's open heart surgery camp targets to help 30 patients with heart-related problems in a space of 2 weeks. Mercy Zamawa, MBC News, Blantyre.
Ministry of Health and Sanitation says it is working on integrating immunization and non-communicable diseases services among children to improve healthcare delivery in the country. Principal Secretary for Administration in the ministry, Beston Kisamide, said this in Lilongwe during a research dissemination conference on evaluating integration of child health services across the life course. The research was done by Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, KUHES. More in this report by Trinity Pantengo.
Chisamire said although Malawi has made significant strides in expanding health coverage, it is imperative to adopt the integration of immunization services and non-communicable diseases among children. He said this will help boost healthcare delivery and child development in Malawi, which also aligns with the Health Sector Strategic Plan 3 of 2023 to 2030.
In terms of the cost, it's like you make one visit to a facility, so everything is done, you have reduced the cost. Then the other issue is to avoid the duplication. So you are seen today and tomorrow you're also seen by another service provider. So what it means is that this integration concept or model will indeed improve the service delivery, not only for the children, even for the adults as well.
In his remarks, Principal Investigator and Associate Professor at the Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, KUHES, John Puga, emphasized the importance of Malawi adopting such integration to address childhood non-communicable diseases.
We tend to think that in Malawi we only suffer from infections, but we also suffer from non-communicable diseases. So diabetes does occur in children, and that's why we are saying, okay, so how does EPI or vaccination program interact with NCDs? You see that vaccinations are the major way of protecting ourselves against infections. Therefore, by doing that, it means we're also protecting ourselves against the childhood NCDs.
Among other aspects, the dissemination tackled the importance of adoption of continuity care, a coordinated system that follows every child from birth through adolescence and into productive adulthood. The implementation research was conducted in the districts of Kasungu, Rumpi, Chikwawa, and Mangochi. Trinity Kapantengo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
A deep dive research by Mapata Institute has singled out banana, soybean, and rice as commodities with great potential to structurally transform the country's value chain and boost the economy. Speaking at Anulimi Ndijirengedwe Uchi Roundtable Dialogue, where findings and recommendations on the 3 crops were disseminated, Principal Secretary for Industrialization and Trade, Wiske Simkombezi, reiterated that the government is committed to advancing value addition and agricultural commercialization as key pillars of the country's development agenda. Jibiriron Tumodzi reports.
Agriculture is the biggest part of the economy in Malawi. Therefore, this initiative is a further commitment by government to turn farming into a commercial activity. The Mwapata Institute conducted this research and focused on 3 crops, namely banana, soybean and rice. They looked at the potential these groups have and the demand that there is locally and globally. They have since presented these findings and various recommendations. Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Industrialization and Trade, Whiskes Nkombezi, has hailed the initiative and its potential to transform agriculture and trade.
In support of this, we have our own policies and strategies that will use to support transformation of the agricultural value chains that will be promoted under the Uchi project. So, for instance, the ministry has the Department of Small and Medium Enterprises and cooperatives, and that department also deals with issues of value addition. You may recall that what used to be called one village, one product is now the division of value addition under the ministry. So we will look at that and support these value chains, including the other value chains that are outside the scope of this project.
The initiative was supported by the EU and UNDP. The Deputy Resident Representative for UNDP in Malawi is Chika Charles Aniekwe.
I would say that the potential is huge, and agriculture employs a large number of Malawians, and that is a factor. The numbers are out there. So if we're able to catalyze this sector to make sure that a lot of more farmers are moving away from subsistence small-scale farming into commercial farming, it could have potential not just for Malawi to have access to this product at a reduced cost, but also has export potential. Many people say that Malawi is landlocked, or some of us to say that Malawi is land-linked. If you look by your side, you see you have border with Tanzania, Mozambique, Zambia. So this product can go into those sectors. I'm also aware that even beyond your neighboring countries to countries like Kenya, Malawi soybean also finds places in Kenyan market.
The focus on the 3 crops is expected to enhance household incomes, promote agro-industrial development, and reduce import dependency, among others. Chipiriro Mtumodzi, NBC News, Lilongwe.
An expert in rice farming, Makonio Imani, says this year's rice harvest will be better as compared to last year, owing to the prolonged rains. Station manager for the Full Research Station in Salima District, Konwo Imani, has told NBC that the season has been favorable for late maturing rice varieties such as Kilombero and Superfire. Tembamwali reports.
According to Iman, the late maturing varieties are currently at a flowering stage with adequate moisture in the background, which provides hope that production for these varieties will be high.
For those people who grew Kilombero and the Fire, which are late maturing varieties, they are in course because this season is a prolonged season, and these 2 varieties are late maturing, and because of the prolonged season, now they have just started flowering, and they are flowering now when there is a lot of moisture in there, so which means the performance of these varieties this year will be also good as compared to previous season, whereby the rains stopped before flowering, whereby there was a lot of unfilled grains.
However, Iman says the harvest for early maturing varieties such as Linga, Uwemi, Mtetanjala and Kuja will drop because farmers are failing to harvest and dry the crop due to swampy farmlands.
Since the varieties have already matured and farmers are ready to harvest, but they are failing to harvest, and those who are harvesting, it is hard for them to harvest more because it means they have to harvest in water and remove the harvested rice maybe to upland or where there is an anthill so that they can thresh the rice. Therefore, in doing that, they will compromise the quality as well as the yield because some of the rice might be damaged by the water. And once the rice is soaked in water, when it comes milling, most of the rice will be broken. Generally, it will compromise the quality as well as yield of the rice.
The research station has since expressed optimism that the production of upland rice variety Nerika 4 will be higher as well as many farmers purchased the seed from the dealers. However, Iman could not commit on the actual expected harvest. Lifu is the only agricultural research station in Malawi which produces rice varieties. This far, the station has more than 20 rice varieties to its name, including Kilombero and Superfire. Temba Mwale, MBC News, Blantyre.
Well, that item also concludes this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories before we leave. President Mutharika hails Standard Bank for its vital contribution to Malawi's national development and economic progress. Increased chieftaincy wrangles worries stakeholders in Mangochi. Government reiterates its commitment to advancing value addition and agricultural commercialization. Scan the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen to get our news updates. You've been with me, Romeo Omari. Many thanks for watching, and bye for now.
Last year, I teamed up with the European Union to visit Mulanje and see the impact of its partnership on local businesses. I learned that a small spark can ignite lasting change. A loan from the village bank became a bakery that changed lives.